You know, as I've stepped deeper into my 50s and 60s, I've come to realize something simple but profound. Our dreams are not random images drifting through the night. A dream is a quiet conversation, a delicate dialogue between the body and the soul. A dialogue we're often too busy to hear during the day. When we close our eyes, when the noise of the world finally softens, that's when the truth inside us begins to speak. The body, carrying everything it has endured throughout the day, starts sending signals to the soul. And the soul, with all its hopes, fears, and longings, sends its signals back. These two parts of us, body and spirit, meet in that thin, mysterious space we call a dream. And believe me, it's one of the most honest meetings we ever have. Ancient wisdom teaches that every symbol in a dream carries a message. If you dream of water, your emotions may be seeking purification. If you dream of fire, something inside you may still be burning or unsettled. If you dream of flying, your soul might be yearning for freedom from pressures you've held onto for far too long. I've spoken with many people over 50 who tell me, "Why do my dreams feel stronger now than when I was younger?" I always smile, because as we age, the body begins speaking in a different language, a language of symbols, intuition, and unspoken memories waiting to be healed. Dreams aren't meant to entertain us. They're a gentle mirror reflecting what's happening inside the things we don't always have the courage to face in daylight. And I truly believe that when you begin listening to your dreams, you begin listening to your life. Sometimes you don't need advice. Sometimes all you need is a deep night's rest, a soft and quiet dream. And suddenly you understand what you're longing for, what you're afraid of, and what it's finally time to let go. So if you're watching this tonight, ask yourself gently, what is my soul trying to say to me tonight? And then, let sleep lead the way. You know, one thing I've learned after listening to hundreds of people in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, is this: the emotions we don't resolve during the day never really disappear. They simply wait. And when night comes, they slip quietly into our dreams wearing strange shapes and unfamiliar faces. Unspoken anger may return as a storm. A long-held sadness might appear as a lonely road you keep walking on. An old disappointment could show up as someone ignoring you in a dream or a door that refuses to open. The symbols look odd, sometimes confusing, but the emotion behind them is very real. During the day, we're good at pretending. We smile, we stay busy, we distract ourselves. But the mind has a remarkable honesty at night. It releases what we tried to hold in. It whispers what we avoided saying. It shows us the weight we thought we had already put down. I often tell people my age, you don't dream because you're weak. You dream because you're finally quiet enough to hear what your heart has been carrying. And the truth is, unresolved emotions don't enter our dreams to punish us. They enter to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be softened a little. The dream is like a gentle tap on the shoulder saying, "You didn't deal with this today. Let me help you look at it tonight." Sometimes that looking is subtle, a color, a movement, a person you haven't seen in decades. Other times it's more obvious, a chase, a fall, a conflict repeating itself. But all of it has one purpose: to help the soul release what the mind held on to too tightly. And you know, as we get older, emotions don't move as quickly as they used to. They sit deeper, they cling harder. That's why dreams feel stronger, more vivid, more symbolic. So tonight, as you prepare to sleep, don't be afraid of what may come. Whatever emotion shows up, grief, regret, longing, fear, see it as a visitor knocking on your door asking to be understood, not feared. Because once an emotion is finally seen, it no longer needs to hide in the shadows of your dreams. You know, Over the years, I've come to understand a quiet truth that many people overlook. When you fall asleep with gratitude, you don't just enter the night, you step into it, the way you would step into a sacred temple filled with light. Gratitude changes the temperature of the heart. It softens the breath, slows the mind, and opens a gentle space inside you that the world can't touch. And when that space opens, sleep becomes more than rest. It becomes a kind of homecoming. I often tell folks my age, gratitude doesn't take away the pain of life, but it makes the heart spacious enough to hold it. And a spacious heart sleeps differently. It doesn't fight the night. It doesn't resist the silence. It settles, like a leaf settling onto a quiet lake. Think of it this way. When you go to bed angry, the night becomes heavy. When you go to bed anxious, the night becomes restless. But when you go to bed grateful even for one small thing, the night receives you gently, almost tenderly. It could be gratitude for your breath, for the roof above your head, for the body that has carried you through so many storms, or even gratitude for a lesson learned the hard way. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be sincere. And I've noticed something profound. When a person over 50 practices gratitude before sleep, their dreams tend to soften. The mind stops replaying old conflicts. The body stops bracing for impact. The night stops feeling like an enemy and begins to feel like a companion. You enter the darkness the way you enter a temple, not with fear, but with reverence. And in that reverent state, healing becomes possible. The heart settles, the nervous system unwinds, and the soul, exhausted from carrying unspoken worries, finally breathes. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take a moment. Place your hand on your chest and simply whisper one quiet truth you're grateful for. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is the light it brings with you into the night, because a grateful heart never walks into the dark alone. You know, the older I get, the more I realize that sleep is not just a biological function, it's a sacred ritual. A quiet ceremony we perform every night, whether we know it or not. Long before science could explain REM cycles and brain waves, the ancient ones understood this simple truth. Sleep is the moment we return to our true self, the part of us that exists beneath all the noise. During the day, we wear so many masks, we play so many roles, we carry responsibilities, expectations, worries that pile up quietly on our shoulders. And somewhere along the way, the essence of who we truly are gets buried under layers of doing, striving, surviving. But when night comes, when the world finally loosens its grip, all those layers fall away. All the pretending stops. And for a few precious hours, we return to our original simplicity. That silence you feel right before you drift off. That stillness that settles over the room. It's not emptiness. It's a doorway. A doorway back to the self you often forget you are. I once told a group of students in their 60s, if you treat sleep like a duty, it will feel like a burden. But if you treat it like a ceremony, it will become a blessing. A ceremony doesn't require candles or chants, it requires presence. Just a moment of awareness, just a soft exhale that says, I'm ready to return to myself. Because in that return, healing begins. The heart relaxes, the mind releases what it no longer needs, and the soul, tired from all its wandering, comes home. People often think spiritual rituals must be grand or complex, but sometimes the most sacred ritual is simply lying down, closing your eyes, and letting the universe hold you for a while. So tonight, as you prepare for rest, don't rush into sleep like someone escaping the day. Enter it gently, like stepping across the threshold of a quiet temple. Let the silence welcome you. Let the darkness embrace you without fear. Because sleep, when approached with reverence, is not the end of the day. It is a pilgrimage, a nightly journey back to the core of your being. You know, if there is one thing I wish more people understood, especially those of us who have lived long enough to feel life in our bones, it is this. Your nighttime breath is the doorway to your deepest healing. Not the pills, not the routines, not even the hours you sleep, but the quality of your breath, the softness of it, the rhythm it carries as you drift into the night. During the day, our breath is often hurried and tight. We breathe like we're running even when we're standing still. Responsibilities steal our inhale, worries shorten our exhale, and the nervous system never truly settles. But at night, when you finally lie down, when the lamps dim and the house grows quiet, something extraordinary becomes possible. The breath can return home, and when it does, it becomes a healer. You see, the body follows the breath. If the breath is turbulent, the body remains on guard. But if the breath is slow, warm, and steady, the body receives a message that it is finally safe enough to repair itself. I often tell the people I work with in the stillness of night, every slow breath is a form of medicine, and I mean it. A long, gentle inhale invites life back into the body. A soft, extended exhale releases the tensions that clung to you all day, and somewhere between those two movements, the mind begins to quiet, the heart begins to soften, and healing begins to rise like a subtle tide. It doesn't matter how old you are. A 70-year-old body responds to breath the same way a newborn does. It opens, it loosens, it remembers how to heal. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to force it. You don't have to control it. Just notice it. Let it lengthen on its own like a river finding its natural flow. So tonight, before you close your eyes, place one hand on your belly and just feel the quiet movement beneath your palm. Let each breath be a soft knock on the door of your inner world. Because when the breath slows, the soul speaks. And when the breath deepens, the body listens. That's where true healing begins, not in effort, but in surrender. You know, there's an ancient teaching that many people today have forgotten, yet it holds a quiet kind of wisdom. The position you sleep in can open the heart or close it. And when the heart is open, the night becomes a sanctuary instead of a struggle. The old monks men who spent their whole lives listening to the language of the body slept on their right side with one hand tucked gently under the cheek. It wasn't superstition, it wasn't ritual for ritual's sake. It was because this posture kept the heart unobstructed and the breath flowing freely. They believed, and modern science now agrees, that when the heart energy is open, the whole body slips more easily into deep restorative rest. When I was younger, I never thought much about how I slept. But as the years passed, as my body aged and my mind carried more stories than it once did, I began to feel the difference. Lying on the right side calmed something inside me, like turning the body into a bowl that could finally hold peace instead of spilling it. Sleeping in this sacred posture isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about sending a message, a gentle symbolic gesture that says, tonight I choose to trust. Tonight I allow myself to rest without guarding my heart. You can feel it when you do it. The breath flows differently. The chest softens. The tension around the ribs loosens as if the body is saying, you're safe now. And that sense of safety is what pulls you into deep sleep, the kind of sleep that rejuvenates rather than just knocks you out. For those of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, the heart carries so much grief, love, memory loss, joy, all woven together. When we sleep curled tightly or folded in on ourselves, the heart stays guarded as if bracing for something. But when we sleep in an open, gentle posture, the heart opens too. And in that opening, something inside begins to heal. So tonight when you lay down, Try it for a moment. Turn onto your right side. Place one hand softly beneath your cheek. Let the other hand rest near your heart. Feel the body settle, the breath lengthen, the mind loosen its grip. This is more than a position. It's a quiet invitation, a way of telling your heart that it no longer needs to protect you, not for these next few hours, not while the night holds you. And in that simple surrender, deep sleep grows like a blessing. In all my years of studying the meeting point between spirituality and the human body, there is one idea from Tibetan wisdom that has stayed with me, the energy called lung. Some describe it as breath. Some call it wind. But the truth is, lung is more than air moving through the lungs. It's the movement of life itself inside you. The Tibetans believe that this subtle wind carries your thoughts, your emotions, even your memories. When lung is calm, the mind becomes clear, the breath becomes steady, and the body rests like a mountain in the night. But when lung is disturbed by stress, fear, anger, or grief, it whirls inside you like a storm, and sleep becomes shallow, fragmented, restless. I've seen this in so many people my age. They say I sleep, but I don't feel rested, or my mind keeps spinning even when my body is tired. And every time I think of lung, this invisible current that holds so much of our inner weather. The beauty, though, is this: when you soothe lung, sleep becomes medicine, not metaphorically, truly medicine. A calm lung slows the heart. A calm lung softens the nerves. A calm lung signals to every organ. You may repair now, you are safe. And in that moment, the body begins healing itself in ways no doctor, no pill, no technique can fully replicate. The Tibetans used simple practices: gentle breathing, warm herbal teas, slow evening walks, soft chanting, not to induce sleep, but to settle the winds inside the body so sleep would come like a natural tide. And I'll tell you something. As we grow older, the winds inside us change. They become more sensitive. Small stresses shake them. Old memories stir them. A single worry can scatter them through the night. That's why soothing lung becomes even more important with age. So tonight, before you close your eyes, try just a few slow breaths. Breaths that feel warm, unhurried, like they're coming from deep within the belly. Feel the inner winds quiet down like a field settling after the evening breeze. When lung becomes still, the mind follows, the heart settles, and real sleep rises inside you like a healing mist. In that softness, the night becomes medicine, and your dreams become the hands gently restoring what life has worn down. Because when the inner winds rest, the whole being rests with them. If there is one lesson the night keeps teaching us again and again, it is this: your thoughts are not enemies. They're simply clouds, and clouds were never meant to be chased or fought. As we grow older, the mind has its own habits. It revisits old conversations, old regrets, old wounds. It replays what we should have said or shouldn't have done. And sometimes it drifts into worries that haven't even happened, stories of tomorrow written in the ink of yesterday's fear. But the night was never meant to be a battlefield for thoughts. It was meant to be a quiet ski. And thoughts, they're just weather passing through. I often tell people my age, you don't have to silence your mind. You only need to stop wrestling with it. Because the more you fight a thought, the stronger it grows. The more you chase it, the farther peace runs away. But when you let thoughts drift light, slow, unhurried, like clouds moving across a sunset sky, something beautiful happens inside you. The mind loosens its grip, the breath deepens, and the body begins to trust the night again. Think about it. Clouds don't stay. They appear, they shift, they dissolve, and your thoughts do the same if you don't hold them, if you don't cling to them, if you don't invite them to spend the night. We don't need to clear the mind. We only need to stop believing every thought demands attention. Some thoughts are just echoes. Some are leftovers from the day. Some don't belong to you at all. They're simply fragments your mind picked up along the way. So tonight, when you lie down and the thoughts begin to wander in, just notice them. Don't push them away. Don't pull them closer. Let them drift as they wish, soft, harmless, temporary. Because when thoughts move like clouds, the sky inside you opens. And in that open sky, sleep arrives naturally, not forced, not chased, but welcomed. And maybe, in that soft space between one drifting thought and the next, you'll feel something deeper than sleep, a quiet reminder that peace was always there waiting beneath the clouds. You know, there's a beautiful truth I've come to appreciate more as the years have passed. Every cell in your body is like a tiny candle, and the way you imagine them, the way you speak to them, can either dim their light or help them glow. Science tells us that the body regenerates while we sleep. Ancient wisdom tells us that the mind can guide that regeneration. Somewhere in the middle lies a truth that both worlds agree on: your inner world matters. Your thoughts, your images, your gentle attention, they shape the way your body heals. I remember working with an older woman in her late 60s. She used to say, "My body feels tired, like all the lights inside me have gone out." And one evening, I guided her through a simple practice. I asked her to picture each cell as a small candle, not blazing, not burning, just quietly glowing. At first, she laughed, but then she tried it, and something softened in her expression. A month later, she said, "You know, when I imagine those candles before sleep, I feel warm on the inside, like my body remembers how to heal again." That's the power of imagery. The body listens to the stories we whisper to it. So tonight, before you drift into sleep, try this. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and imagine one small candle glowing in your chest, then another, then another. Let the light spread through the shoulders, down the arms, across the belly, into the legs. A gentle illumination, not forced, not bright, just enough to feel alive. It doesn't matter if you're 50 or 80. Cells respond to kindness. They respond to attention. They respond to light, especially the light you imagine. And when the whole body glows softly like a field of tiny candles flickering in the night, something remarkable happens. The nervous system quiets, the breath deepens, and healing becomes possible in a way that feels almost spiritual. Because you're not just a body lying in bed, you are a constellation of living sparks, and your imagination is the match that lights them. Tonight, let those little lights shine. You know, once we cross that threshold of 50, something very different begins to happen inside us at night. Sleep is no longer just sleep. It becomes a kind of quiet housekeeping for the soul, a slow, gentle rearranging of old wounds we never fully addressed. In our younger years, we push through pain. We outrun memories. We bury disappointments under layers of work, responsibility, and noise. But as we grow older, the body slows, the mind opens, and the soul starts to whisper things we once tried so hard not to hear. I've spoken to many people in their 50s, 60s, 70s who tell me, "Why do old memories come back in my sleep?" And I always answer with the same soft truth. Because the soul finally has time to reorganize the things you carried for too long. At night, when the world grows quiet, the heart begins its real work. It picks up the fragments of old hurts, a conversation that went wrong, a goodbye that came too early, a regret that never faded, and it tries to place them somewhere gentler, somewhere they no longer sting. Dreams often stir these memories, not to torment us, but to reorganize them, to file them away in a place where they stop controlling our days. You see, healing doesn't always look like triumph. Sometimes healing looks like reliving something painful but feeling it with a softer heart this time. Sometimes healing looks like remembering, but without collapsing. Sometimes healing is simply the soul saying, "Let me carry this differently now." And sleep gives it the space to do that. The older we get, the more important this nightly reorganization becomes. Not because we're weak, but because we're finally wise enough to let go. At 50, 60, 70, we no longer have the energy to keep everything locked inside. The soul knows this. So it works while we sleep, rewiring, releasing, reshaping our inner world. That's why some mornings you wake up feeling lighter even if you can't explain why. Something inside you found its rightful place in the night. So tonight, as you close your eyes, don't be afraid of the memories that rise. They're not coming back to break you. They're coming back to settle, to soften, to finally make peace. Because after 50, sleep isn't just rest, it's the soul putting itself back together. You know, there's a moment right before sleep when the whole world seems to pause. And if your mind is calm enough, truly calm, that moment becomes something sacred. Because when the mind grows quiet, sleep itself becomes a kind of unconscious meditation. Most people think meditation requires sitting upright, breathing perfectly, or focusing with effort. But the older I get, the more I realize the deepest meditation often happens when we're not trying at all. It happens when the mind is free from chasing, free from resisting, free from carrying the weight of the day. When the inner noise finally stops echoing, and what remains is a soft, spacious stillness. At that point, sleep doesn't feel like falling anymore. It feels like settling, a gentle dissolving into something larger than yourself, the way a wave returns to the ocean without struggle. People in their 50s and 60s often tell me I can't meditate. My mind won't sit still. And I always smile and say, you already meditate every night, you just don't notice it. Because the moment the mind becomes calm, the brain shifts into the same rhythms found in deep meditation. The breath softens, the heart slows, and the body enters a state where healing becomes effortless. The beauty is that you don't have to force this. You don't have to do it right. You simply prepare the conditions: a quiet room, a gentle breath, a soft letting go, and then nature takes over. When the mind is still, sleep becomes a continuation of that stillness. It becomes prayer without words, rest without resistance, a journey inward without the need for guidance. And the older we get, the more precious this becomes. Not because life gets easier, but because the heart learns what truly matters: peace, presence, and the kind of rest that nourishes the soul, not just the body. So tonight, when you lie down, don't worry about stopping your thoughts. Just let them drift. Let the breath slow on its own. Let the mind settle like dust falling to the ground. And when it does, sleep will rise to meet you, not as escape, but as meditation, a quiet return to yourself. You know, there's something about the night that we often overlook, especially as we grow older and life becomes quieter, simpler, more reflective. The night isn't just the absence of sunlight. It's the moment when the body and the spirit become most open to the larger energies of the universe. During the day, we're busy, we're distracted. Our minds are tangled in conversations, responsibilities, worries, plans. All that noise forms a barrier, a kind of static that keeps us from sensing anything subtle or sacred. But when night comes, when the world slows down, when the house grows silent, when the sky unfolds into darkness, something magnificent happens. The body becomes receptive, the heart becomes porous, the mind becomes less guarded. And in that softness, we connect without even trying to the vast, quiet energy that surrounds us. You can feel it if you pay attention. There's a kind of stillness at 2 or 3 in the morning that doesn't exist at any other time. It's as if the universe itself is breathing more slowly, more gently, and inviting us to breathe with it. Ancient cultures knew this. The monks in the Himalayas meditated long before dawn because they believed the veil between the human soul and the cosmos was thinnest in those hours. Native elders spoke of nighttime as the hour when the earth remembers its light. And even modern science shows that our brain waves at night move into states that make us more intuitive, more connected, more open. I talk to many people in their 60s and 70s who wake up in the middle of the night for no clear reason. And I always tell them softly, maybe the universe is tapping you on the shoulder, not to disturb you but to reach you. Because the truth is, in the quiet of night, you're not separated from the world, you're held by it. Your breath syncs with the natural rhythm of the earth. Your heart softens into a slower beat. Your energy field expands like a small flame glowing against the vastness of the sky. And when your body sleeps, your soul listens. It absorbs the quiet wisdom the day is too loud to offer. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, don't think of the darkness as emptiness. Think of it as presence, a wide, gentle presence that wraps around you like an old friend. Because night is not just rest. Night is communion. A silent conversation between you and the great compassionate energy that holds every living thing. You know, the older I get, the more I realize that the moment before sleep is one of the most important thresholds of our entire day, and yet most people cross it unconsciously, rushing into the night with a tired mind, a heavy heart, and no awareness of what they're carrying with them. When we fall asleep without presence, without a moment of stillness, without even acknowledging how the day has shaped us, it's almost like a small part of us dies inside. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, unnoticed way, the way a light fades when no one is paying attention. We lose a little of our clarity, a little of our strength, a little of the wisdom the day was trying to teach us. But when we fall asleep with awareness, with a gentle return to our breath, with gratitude, with even a whisper of intention, something very different happens. Sleep becomes a rebirth. The Buddhists were right when they said, sleeping without awareness is like dying without rebirth. Sleeping with awareness is like being born again at dawn. And I've seen this in so many people over 50. Those who take even 1 minute before bed to be present, to breathe, to release, to forgive, to soften, wake up in the morning with a completely different energy. Their faces look lighter, their eyes look clearer, their hearts feel less burdened. It's as if the night has carried them gently instead of swallowing them whole. Think of it this way. If you rush into sleep in a state of tension, your body spends the night fighting shadows. But if you enter sleep like someone stepping into sacred ground, the night works for you, clearing, mending, restoring. And every morning becomes a small resurrection. You don't just open your eyes, you return, you begin again. So tonight, before you surrender to sleep, pause for just one breath. Feel your chest rise, feel your body soften, and quietly say to yourself, I enter this night awake. Because when you fall asleep consciously, you don't lose a part of yourself. You reclaim it, and you meet the morning not as someone surviving another day, but as someone newly born into it.